Those punches, using my Chinese martial arts, hit harder than normal boxing. The man cried out, falling down, could not get up. The other bad guy, seeing his friend on the ground, opened a foot-long knife and lunged at Song Jian's stomach. Song Jian pulled in his stomach, moving away so the knife only touched his clothes. The bad guy stopped, surprised, and Song Jian quickly grabbed his wrist and pulled the knife away. Without waiting, he pushed the knife into the man's stomach. The bad guy held his stomach, his eyes wide in disbelief, moving back before falling onto the road. Song Jian was not a killer by nature, but he had good reasons. First, the bad guy had tried to kill him. Second, when I defeated the first man, the Filipino gang members cheered. They clearly hated these proud Americans. Hurting one could win us some support, making our mission easier. Reagan's face became ugly as he watched. He looked ready to attack us himself. I smiled in a mean way. You can also lie in the dirt. We will still find someone to take us to Ricardo. Reagan made a wild shout and charged at me. His boxing stance was strong, but I was not going to meet him directly. I moved to his side, landing a quick kick to his back. He stumbled forward 7 or 8 steps, crashing hard to the ground. He rolled over, pulling a pistol, but I had expected it. Before he could shoot, I moved my left foot low, kicking up sand and small stones into his face. Blinded, he fired 3 wild shots, hitting 2 gang members by mistake. I jumped forward, stomping his wrist and pulling my foot back, breaking his wrist with a terrible crack that was louder than his scream. Chaos started. Some gang members shot into the air, others shouted. Fearing an attack, Song Jian and I jumped into a ditch by the road. Looking out, we saw no one chasing us. Someone even pointed us out, but no one moved to attack. Then, a car horn made a loud sound, and a broken-down Jeep came through a cloud of dust, stopping nearby. The crowd became quiet. We looked closely. The Jeep carried 5 men, a driver and 4 strong Filipinos, each built like a big animal. In the middle was a neatly dressed Filipino, standing out clearly from the messy, drunk gang members. He was about 5'7", in his 40s, with dark skin. As the Jeep stopped, he shouted, "What is happening?" One of the gang pointed to our ditch. Thinking this was Ricardo, we jumped out. I called, "Mr. Ricardo?" His face showed a quick surprise. He pointed at the groaning, almost dead American bad guy on the ground. "Your work?" Before I could answer, someone shouted, "The Americans started it." Ricardo's lips curled in a half-smile, half-angry look. "What do you want?" he asked, looking at the crowd and making small signals. His 4 bodyguards jumped off the Jeep, and the gang members quietly moved, slowly surrounding us. Meanwhile, others pulled the 3 injured Americans away. I could tell Ricardo was a man of real skill. The Hook gang was a mixed group of criminals, yet with a few looks and gestures, he controlled them easily. He was clearly a leader they respected. I thought for a moment and said, "We have a proposal. If you work with us, it will be a big win for both sides." Ricardo's lips moved again. "How big?" I pointed at the crowd. "Big enough to send every one of you to Paris for a holiday." He looked at me, then said, "Get in." Song Jian and I were about 10 feet from the Jeep, but to show off, we jumped onto it in one move. Ricardo looked surprised. His 4 bodyguards climbed back on, and the Jeep went fast. Along the way, we passed concrete buildings, not houses, but old Japanese bunkers or warehouses now used as shelters. After about 6 miles, the road ended at a small valley surrounded by green mountains, quiet and hidden. In the center stood a large concrete building, probably an old warehouse. Ricardo had not said a word during the drive. When the Jeep stopped, he simply said, "We are here." The 4 bodyguards jumped out, and we followed Ricardo into the building. The concrete building had a cold, strange feeling, made worse by dim, flickering lights that made me nervous. I was worried not only about our talks with Ricardo but also about Red, still hiding in the boat's cabin. We entered a room about 20 feet square. Its furniture was surprisingly fancy, but I noticed the expensive alcohol bottles were mostly empty, and when Ricardo opened a silver cigarette case, only a few cigars remained. Once we were all seated, 2 of the 4 strong men stood at the door, while the other 2 stood behind us, not to protect us, but to make sure we did not try anything funny. Before we could speak, Ricardo interrupted. This cooperation, is it about selling weapons? I laughed softly. Relax. No risk at all. No need to fight with the government. Just sit back and enjoy the rewards. Ricardo's face became dark. Gentlemen, I do not have a sense of humor. I leaned forward. You don't need one, because you have luck. There is a huge amount of money hidden somewhere on this island. Ricardo's eyes opened wide. A lot of money, big enough to make you take such a crazy risk? Big enough, I said, to make you treat us like your best friends. Ricardo seemed to enjoy our word fight and laughed loudly. But it stopped suddenly. Where is it hidden? I nodded to Song Jian, who took out the 25 steel plates. I quickly explained to Ricardo how the 7 gangs and 18 societies had put this money together years ago. Ricardo listened with great interest. Song Jian had put the plates together, and Ricardo looked at them closely. The exact place depends on those words at the end, right? I had already translated the secret words for him. I think so, I said. Ricardo walked around the room, back and forth, then suddenly smiled widely. Mr. Ricardo, I said, have you understood those puzzling words? No, he replied, but if it's on this island, we will find it. And whatever the money is, I will decide how it is shared. He leaned over the table, hands pressed down, looking at us angrily as if he wanted to eat us whole. I kept my voice calm. No 50-50, Ricardo repeated. I decide. I did not move. No 50-50. He smiled in a mean way. Who makes the decisions here? I said calmly. Without us, you would never find this money. 50-50 is the only fair way. Ricardo made a sound. The Hook Gang does not do fair. Fine, I said back. We take 70, you get 30. Ricardo stopped, then started laughing. Song Jian looked at me as if I had gone too far. I knew I had, but that was the point. Talking with Ricardo and his gang was just a way to buy time to search for the treasure on the island. If the talks went too smoothly, it would fail completely. Ricardo stopped laughing. It looks like we are very far apart. I nodded. Yes, unless something changes, these talks are not going anywhere. Ricardo leaned back. So, are you planning to join us? I understood what he meant. If we did not agree, we would not leave this place alive. But I also knew that even if we made a deal, he would kill us to keep the secret from being known. I smiled. To the Hook Gang, we are nothing. But to you, Ricardo, our deaths would mean losing your chance to become one of the world's richest men. His eyes shone with greed, like a South American panther looking at its prey. After a long quiet time, he said, Fine, we will talk again tomorrow. Don't wander off. I could not guess why Ricardo wanted to wait, but with no other choice, we went along. He left the room. Song Jian and I gathered the 25 steel plates and sat on the soft sofas. Song Jian asked, What is our next move? I said, Tonight, we will slip out and hide in the mountains. I doubt the Hook Gang will find us. Song Jian nodded. Good plan. We could hide there for days. But what about your cousin? Of course I haven't forgotten her, I said. I don't know how she and Song Fu managed to steal those plates, but she did it. The boat has a hidden space and plenty of food. She can hide there for at least 2 weeks, no problem. Song Jian shook his head. Let's hope so. There is no other choice, I said. We cannot risk contacting her. Song Jian sighed. If we had known, we should have left one of Old Bai's special pistols with her. His words gave me an idea. I remembered the speedboat had a very good radio, and Old Bai's small radios worked in similar ways. If we could send a signal on a frequency the boat's radio could pick up, and if it caught Red's attention, we might be able to reach her. I quickly took the idea and pulled out the pistol, fixing its radio part. I was not completely sure, but I kept changing frequencies, calling out and listening for Red's answer. After about an hour, her voice made a crackling sound. Cousin, is that you? I almost jumped with joy. Red, you can hear me? Of course, she said. What's up, Red? How are you doing? Following your orders, stuck in this hidden space, she complained. It's very boring. Listen, Red, I said, we might not get back to you for 2 weeks, maybe longer. You have to be extra careful. No way, she protested. That's not fair, keeping me here for half a month. What is that about? I lowered my voice, firm. Red, you have to listen to me. She became quiet for a moment, then unwillingly said, Fine. I have never been religious, but at that moment, if there was a God who could make sure Red truly meant it, I would have knelt down to pray. I gave her a few more instructions before ending the call.